As we record this video, it is July 7th, and it is a perfect day to assess where Disney stands presently with respect to opening Disney parks in the United States. The conversation is worth having because just as we started to think that there was maybe some momentum, some positivity happening towards Disney parks and really the US economy in general getting back to some kind of normal, there has been a significant spike, an increase in cases in both Florida and California, the two states that are most important to Disney fans like us, with respect to the parks reopening. Here on the left coast, we're kind of in a standby mode. The state has reverted to sort of a modified phase 2. And the reopening of Disneyland is paused indefinitely. As recently as this morning, Disney has said, we don't know when we're going to reopen. But in Florida, there is no such pause. And they're still getting, 10,000 new cases a day recently? Tops in the country. But you've got, Governor Newsom is saying he has no doubt that Disney World will be a safe environment for guests. And by all appearances, Disney agrees with this. The park opened on Tuesday for a cast member preview, both Tuesday and Wednesday. And by all appearances, it looks like Disney has done everything that they can do to make the parks ready. Let's check out some images from the Tuesday opening, and I think you might agree that they've done quite a bit. This is the Jungle Cruise, and yes, that is plexiglass separating guests. I would imagine that only guests that are in the same traveling party can sit together, in between two sections of glass. You'll also find plexiglass in some of the queue spaces. Now, not all of the queues have this, but this is an example of one that does. Here we've got a cast member spraying some Splash Mountain ride vehicles. My guess is that this boat, once sprayed, will be sent through the ride empty before it gets board, and this is done to give the treatment time to do its thing. Here's the Tiki Room. Now, people wondered how they can socially distance guests in areas like this, and really, it's quite simple. You just tell them where to sit, tell them where not to sit, then send in only as many guests as can fit in those spaces. And again, I would assume that only guests in the same traveling party would be allowed to sit together, so to speak. It seems unlikely that they would allow strangers, people not in your immediate party, to sit shoulder to shoulder next to each other in a space like this. Where this space is available for maybe 4 or 5 guests, if your group has just 2 or 3, then only 2 or 3 are going to sit in that space. They're not going to try to fill every available spot like they would under normal circumstances. Here's King Arthur's Carousel. And this one would be a little harder, I think, to control guests. So they've got some cast members literally escorting you to your horse. So I guess there's going to be no, I want the pink horse or the blue horse or Jingles or whatever. The cast member is going to say, this is your horse and here's your horse. Over in Animal Kingdom, we have an example of one of the relaxation stations. Now, I don't know Animal Kingdom very well, so I don't know what or where this is, but it does look to me to be probably an outdoor seating area for a nearby dining location that they've converted to this relaxation zone. Tables are separated adequately, and guests can sit and relax without wearing a mask. Finally, here's a shot of Main Street. I'm not really sure of the time, though I have a feeling this is probably at or near rope drop. It's a fair amount of people, but I think that as long as everybody is walking responsibly, that is to say they are being mindful of the guests around them, keeping a safe distance, I think we're good. Now, I don't expect the rest of the park to look like that image just did with respect to capacity. It's not going to look like that everywhere you go, and I think that the images or the videos that we're going to see here in a minute would support that. And having seen all this so far, I have to say that this is actually more than I expected. I feel like they couldn't do any more than they have done so far to make the park ready for guests. Disney appears to be doing everything that they can to make some kind of experience possible for those guests who do want to go to Disneyland. It's up to us to follow Disney's lead and do our part to make everybody else safe, to mind the other guests. Now, speaking of experience, we've talked about this in the past about, what kind of Disney experience are we going to have under these conditions? It's not all good news. I mean, so far I'm encouraged, but this image right here is kind of a bummer. This is the Haunted Mansion in the stretching room, and you just walk through. There's no stretching room pre-show. Now, having said that, I don't think that they can do this, obviously, at Disneyland because our stretching room literally does go down and up. So we need to have the pre-show in order to get to the next stage of the attraction. How they solve that problem, where they chose not to solve it, at Disney World, they might just put some X's down, I guess, on the floor, and then just send in 10 or 15 people and tell them to stand on those X's. And then, again, it's up to us to stand on those X's and then shut up and don't recite the speech. And there's going to be other occurrences like this where it's a little less show, a little less Disney than you might expect. Some of the interactive queue features that you might experience in a given attraction probably won't be working. Basically, anything that requires a guest to touch, a physical touch in the queue is going to be disabled to discourage people from touching things, multiple people touching the same thing over and over. And then we're also probably going to see a lot of this in lieu of character meet and greets and parades. Can I just say it's adorable that the Country Bears are up there having as much fun as we are enjoying, the shows happening. And then here's more of Big Al and Liverlips. Again, mind you, this is at Disney World. We don't generally get to see Big Al or Liverlips, so this is kind of cool seeing this shot. We got a horse-drawn streetcar down Main Street, and that is adorable. Now, I have to say that I have had my doubts about how good the experience is going to be if it's a Disney experience. But look at this. Actually, listen to this.
Yeah, I like it.
Hearing that music just, it fills my heart, and it gives me less doubt in whether or not I feel like, that Disney experience is going to penetrate me emotionally. I've felt like it'll probably just be like work. I'm there as a vlogger to document what is surely to be, a very historical time for Disney, but it won't necessarily be, a Disney experience. But music is very powerful, and I've always said this, it makes and breaks the experience. It's part of this, holy trinity of Disney, the cast members, the music, and then the detail in the theming, the physical theming in the park. Those three things all combined, it doesn't matter if I'm wearing a mask or not. I feel like, that's going to work. And it is the music that sort of is that, it's the linchpin to the whole thing. So what about Disneyland? If we look at the stats, it would have seemed that California was in a much better position, much better place statistically than Florida. And yet California's closed and Florida is all systems go. All I can say on that is that at one point, and we talked about this in a previous video, I thought maybe Disney was the one that wasn't ready. And maybe they were having second thoughts about if they could provide enough experience for guests, and they might not only cancel things at Disneyland, but also at Disney World. But that does not seem to be the case. Disney is full speed ahead in Disney World. They are going for it. So at Disneyland, I think that they're just waiting. They're waiting for the state of California to give them the thumbs up. And then once they do, they've already got their plan in place. They just need a little bit of time, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, to get everything, ready for guests. As for now, we're still a go for Downtown Disney to reopen on July 9th. That has been confirmed by Disney, and we will be there, hopefully, with camera in tow to experience Downtown Disney. We're going to be there to maybe grab a Wetzel's Pretzels or get a donut or a cupcake at Sprinkles. Definitely do some shopping at World of Disney. We need new masks. We need more masks because we're going to be spending a lot of time, hopefully, very soon at Disneyland, and we're going to need those Disney-themed masks. And on that topic, if you want this to happen better and sooner than what we've been getting, do your part and wear a mask and wash your hands and keep your social distance. It's literally the least you can do, especially, and I'm speaking to those, I guess, who, I don't know, they want to go to Disneyland, but they don't want to comply. They're kind of on the fence and that kind of thing. And I get it. I really do. Because, if I don't want to wear a mask if I don't have to. But I'm more than willing to do what I need to do my part for the collective, for all of us, not just myself. It's a burden on myself, but I'm, I've said before, I'm wearing this mask for you. And we just, if we could just do that, this will accelerate the timeline for this thing to get back online. And once again, I've gotten on my my mask soapbox, so don't mind me, but please do your part if you can. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and to hit the notification bell. And you know what? Tell your friends about Fresh Baked and what kind of content you can get here, and hopefully they'll watch as well. Otherwise, we love you guys very much. We hope to see you in the park soon. Fresh Baked.